Good morning. Happy Tuesday, everyone. Welcome to another Coffee and Chat with Sue. And today we're talking about emotional intelligence, EQ. What is it? Why is it important for us to raise our EQ so that we can help not only ourselves, but our dogs? What's emotional intelligence? Well, we know about IQ. We've heard about IQ, which is your intelligence quota. And that's mostly to do with your academics, how at school your IQ is measured to see how clever you are in that respect. But EQ is becoming more and more important and more popular for people to try and understand and recognize and raise their EQ, because it affects so many different parts of our lives, not just our academic or our job or our career, but it can also affect emotional intelligence affects all areas of our lives, because we are emotional beings. We're emotional creatures. We respond to things in our environments. We respond to things in relationships. And so having a good emotional intelligence is, in my opinion, far more important than actually your IQ, how clever you are in the world. So a definition is recognizing and understanding and managing our emotions, right? So recognizing, understanding, and managing them, being able to regulate our emotions. And what is, and also it includes for others. So it's recognizing and understanding emotions in others, and also understanding how we influence or can influence the emotion of others. So how we recognize and recognize those emotions in others, but also influence those emotions in others. And we've spoken a lot about this. Co-regulation, etc., is one of those factors. So let's have a look at some of the things. I've got 10 qualities here of emotionally intelligent people. So I didn't make these up. These are sort of 10 qualities that are recognized in emotionally intelligent people. And we'll have a look at these qualities, what they are, how they play out in our lives, and how they could help us to support ourselves and our dogs. So starting, the first one is empathy. Now, we all know about empathy, and I certainly can thank Charlie for teaching me about empathy. I always used to think I was empathetic, but he took me to a whole level of understanding empathy, and that was really being able to put myself in his shoes, put myself in his paws, and try to see his experience the way he may be seeing it, which is different to the way I am experiencing or feeling something. So that's a very, very powerful thing, to be able to step into somebody else's shoes and actually see things from their perspective. All right. So there's two levels of empathy. There's what they call affective empathy, which is feelings you can recognize, feel with somebody. So that's like if somebody's really upset and they're crying, you also feel that upset. So that's affective. It's basically a mirroring of emotions. So that person is upset, and you can actually feel some sadness or upset in your own body. That person or dog is really aroused and stressed out. You can also feel that arousal and stress as well. All right. So that's that sort of mirroring of emotions, called affective empathy. And the other one is cognitive empathy. So this is the ability for us to use our minds a little bit here to reason about how that person can be feeling, even if we don't know. Say we've never been in that situation. Say somebody's lost a loved one and we've never lost a loved one. So we don't understand what that grief is, but we can rationally try to understand how that person may be feeling. All right, so that's more a cognitive thing. I can put myself in your perspective and try to see it, or try to imagine it the way you may be seeing it or feeling it, or understanding it from their perspective. So why is this so important? Well, we know that we have to, for our reactive sensitive dogs, we have to build that empathy all the time, to understand that it's their reality, it's their experience, and not to get upset about it, because we need to see it through their, whether we think it's logical that they should be, or rational that they should be behaving in that way, we have to understand that that is their experience in the moment. So it's really being able to put ourselves in their shoes. it's learned through, empathy is learned through experiences. So we have to have these experiences. Either we have to have, as I say, that emotion ourselves to understand it, or at least experiences that lead us to help us to understand that, right? If we didn't have those experiences in our lives, how can we ever put ourselves in that position? It just doesn't make sense. But certain other circumstances may help us, and then with our cognitive ability to help us to put ourselves in that person's shoes, as it were. So yeah, empathy is a big one. We know empathy, and empathy is, there's so many different layers of empathy, right? It just gets deeper and deeper as the more we can understand it. It's also, for instance, empathy for other people when we see other people struggling and losing their temper or getting angry at their dogs, etc. The first thing we want to feel is anger at that person for doing that deed. But sometimes we need to actually bring in our little empathy hat in there and say, well, what is going on for that person? Maybe that person's really had a bad day. Maybe something's really gone wrong in their life. Maybe they've just lost a loved one. Maybe they've just lost their job. Who knows? We have to have some level of empathy because it can help us to reduce our judgments, right? We can get very judgy if we don't have a level of empathy that we can start to understand people better. All right, so another really important one. The next one is self-awareness, so how we see ourselves. And that includes both internal and external. So how we see ourselves internally, getting to know our inner world, getting to know our inner thoughts, actually, because a lot of the time we're not even aware of them. So becoming aware of our thoughts, becoming aware of our feelings and our emotions, and becoming aware of how we respond to things in the environment. So yes, we know we do it, but sometimes it takes some reflection and some deeper understanding to actually say, I was feeling like this, and that triggered me, and I reacted like that. So to be able to really look at it from a deeper perspective and see ourselves and how we respond to things in the environment and to other people as well. Another part of self-awareness is seeking feedback and responding to feedback from other people. So when people give us feedback or an answer, how do we receive that? Can we receive compliments or can't we? Can we receive criticism or can't we? And this is where this level of emotional intelligence will help us to really be able to receive information and feedback to ourselves on a much more balanced level. So we can see that perhaps if something is said, that it's maybe not got to do with us, so we don't take it personally, or we don't feel offended by something when somebody says that, or because we're fully aware of who we are, and that comes down to our belief in ourselves as well. So it's the ability to just take in that information, access it, and is there something perhaps that I can learn from that? So not just seeing it as criticism, but is there something that the other person is telling me that I can learn from? So that's all part of that self-awareness and self-assessment, and not feeling judged and criticized, but actually taking that information. Either we recognize that it doesn't belong to us, it's not ours, or we recognize that there's some value in there, finding some value in people's feedback to us. All right, so that's number 2, self-awareness. Curiosity is the third one, and this is also known as the curiosity quotient. There's a new besides the EQ and the IQ, there's now a CQ, which is your curiosity quotient, which is being studied more by different scientists and psychologists, which I find quite interesting. And it's the ability to be open to learning. All right, so it's curiosity it's part of what makes us human, right? It's part of what makes us slightly different to our animal colleagues and friends in this world, is that we are more curious. We are continuously curious to find out, to seek new answers, to understand things, to develop new things. Not always to our best interest, because we seem to have been doing this too much on this planet, but certainly it's what drives us. It's what keeps us going. It's that open to possibilities, the desire to seek answers and improve ourselves. And it's also the tolerance for ambiguity. So it's the tolerance for black and white thinking, right? So our ability to be curious is to say, well, I believe this and you believe that. Well, I must be wrong and you must be right, or vice versa. versus, well, what else is there? What other perspectives are there? And what part of your view is maybe correct? What part of my view may be the truth, etc. So it's that openness to ambiguity, to both sides. So it's not this or that. It can be and. It can be both and. All right. And that's our ability in this curiosity to look through what we think is the truth and to see beyond that and to find our willingness to know more and to improve and to be better and do better. So that's curiosity. The fourth one is analytical thinking. And analytical thinking is our ability to analyze information, so to reflect and to contemplate and to gain insights and put things into perspective. All right. So again, this is something that we can really cultivate as a healthy mindset to be able to look at situations and reflect on them, gather information. What can I learn from that? What can I toss out from that? What worked? What didn't work? And be able to see all those pieces come together as a whole, as how they fit into the whole. So this is this analytical thinking. And again, this can help us with our problem solving with our dogs, analyzing what we've been trying, what we've been doing, how's it been working out, and what is there stuff that we need to ditch, or what is there stuff that we can take going forward? What do we need to change and adapt? That's all that ability to think in an analytical way, which again is one of the traits of emotionally intelligent people. And it results in our the habits and the actions that we do, and we contemplate the why. So why are we doing this? What is the benefits of it? How's this going to work out? Why do I need this? Why do I want this? So this is our why that we ask in this analytical thinking. Again, so you can see how useful it can be in all areas of our life, including our dogs. Thinking about our why. Why do we want this? Why are we doing this? The fifth one is belief. Belief in ourselves. And belief and trust in the world, trust in the universe, your faith in something that's bigger than, greater than you is actually part of an emotional intelligence, right? That's part of knowing that possibly there is something out there greater than yourself, and trusting in that, trusting that everything has its place, trusting that everything comes into your life for a reason. And believing in yourself, believing that you have the power to change if you want to, believe that you have the knowledge, the skills, all of that. Belief in yourself that you can do it. I can do this if I want to, and knowing that it's always possible. And that's what gives us that that ability to drive to keep going forward. Right? If we didn't have that faith in ourselves and faith that there is another possibility out there and that there's something better out there, that's what drives us and keeps us moving forward. Otherwise, we will just stay stuck, right? If we don't trust ourselves, we don't believe that there's a bigger purpose, that there's a reason to all of this, we will just stay really, really stuck. Trust and believe that life is unfolding exactly the way it should. And that there's always hope. There's always something at the end of the rainbow, right? Or that once this is past, this too will pass. All that kind of thing. That's your belief. So what have we got? Next is number 6. There's 10. So we're halfway through. 6 is your needs and your wants. So an emotionally intelligent person understands their needs and wants, and understands the needs and wants of others. So we understand, like we've learned now, what do our dogs need? They've got all the emotional needs, the social needs, the actual physical needs. What do they need for good nutrition and healthy exercise? What do they need for social needs? What are their abilities to build their cognitive abilities and their emotional abilities? So we understand those of others, and we also understand it of ourselves. So what do we need? What do we need to fill our own cup? What do we need to feel safe and secure? What do we need from relationships? So these are all valuable things that we understand and recognize our needs, and we respond to them. We actually act on those needs. So we know what we need, and we go out and we do it. We get what we need. So that's filling your own cup. Okay, making sure that you fill your own cup and understanding that. And there's also a difference between the emotional intelligent person will understand the difference between a need and a want. Now, obviously that sounds, of course we know the difference between a need and a want. Well, do we always? Because we may ask ourselves the question, I want my dog to stop doing that. All right. That's what we think. I want my dog to stop doing that. Well, it's a want. What is the need behind the want? All right. So we have to understand, well, actually, the need behind the want is that I feel uncomfortable when my dog responds that way. I don't enjoy seeing my dog stressed out. I get stressed out. Those are the needs underneath the want. So again, it's being able to really reflect on that. I want this to change. I want this to be different. I want that thing. Well, what is the need? So understanding the need behind the want is very valuable because, excuse me, you will be able to get what you want through understanding what you need to get there. All right. So that's another good one. The seventh one is passion and purpose, right? So somebody who's emotionally intelligent actually understands and their passion and purpose. And that is inspired leadership. And it's also the love of what you do. So something that you just love to do, whether that's, even if in respect with our dogs, we love our dogs. Why do we continue to support them? Why do we go out seeking knowledge? Why do we do courses on dogs? Why are you here? Because you're passionate about your dog, because you love them deeply and you're passionate about seeing them, happy and healthy. All right. And enjoying life and having a good life. That's what you're passionate about. And so you will continuously strive to find answers, to seek to do better, and to have that positive attitude as well that it brings through in that. All right. So it inspires us to learn more and to keep going, even when things don't feel great. We can still say, I'm passionate about this. I'm going to make it happen. So passion could show up with our dogs like that, but it can also show up for ourselves in our careers or what we want to go out and share with the world. And it's something that we so love, so dearly love. We want to know more about it. We want to dive deep into it, and then we want to share with others what we've learned from that. So this is this passion and purpose. All right. And it's a natural desire that every single one of us has. And that's why when we aren't acting on that, when we don't have something that we're passionate about in our lives, when we're not fulfilling our purpose and then have that drive, that inner drive to get up each day and do something because you're so excited about it, that's when we can fall into these depressive states. That's where we can fall into times where we just think, this is Groundhog Day over and over again, and we get stuck in a rut. That's because we've lost that passion and purpose in life. And it's natural to everybody. Everybody's got it. And it doesn't have to be a big thing. It doesn't have to be a massive thing that, I've got this purpose to do this, and I know exactly what I'm going to do, and I'm going to go out there and start a business around that. That doesn't have to be. As I said, our passion could be, it is our dogs. All right. We're passionate about our dogs. We're passionate about helping, others to learn about dogs. That's my thing, helping others to learn about themselves and through their dogs, and supporting both themselves and their dogs. It could be something about you would like to help rescue dogs, for instance, to help them find rehomes. So you might want to foster them. It may be something around learning about, their nutrition and their health, and being able to spread that news for other people. Whatever it is, these are passions and are things that we want to learn more about. We're driven to learn more about, and we're driven to share with others as well. So passion and purpose. Number 8, optimistic, positive attitude. So emotionally intelligent people have a positive bias, unlike unemotionally intelligent people have a negative bias to life. All right. Emotionally intelligent people have a positive bias. And this is when we realize that we cannot control everything in our lives. We let go of that. We have this level of acceptance. But we do recognize that we can control the way we respond to things. We can control the way the way we experience life. All right. And even when things are not going well, and even when things are a struggle, we can see through that. It doesn't mean we don't believe it doesn't exist. We understand that struggles exist as part of life, but we were able to see through that and past that. We were able to go through things and still realize that I'm going to get something out of this. What can I learn from this experience? And I know that there's a rainbow on the other side. That's having that beautiful, optimistic, and positive attitude. Number 9 is adaptability. So we recognize when it's time to let go of things, and we recognize that we've been doing maybe the same habits over and over again and they haven't been serving us. We recognize that we have the ability to adapt now and change. So it's not that thing like, oh, well, I've been doing this all my life and this just feels comfortable and it's too scary to step out of my comfort zone. I'd rather just stay where I am and keep doing the same thing over and over again just because I know it doesn't work. That's a lack of adaptability. Adaptability is to say, I recognize this hasn't been working. I recognize that change is needed, and I recognize that I need to create new habits if I want to change something, if I want to go in that direction. So it's our ability to change our daily habits and routines. This is where our dogs also struggle a lot. Sensitive dogs and sensitive people struggle with making decisions for changing and for being willing to adapt and to change to new situations. There's a willingness that goes with it. This is all part of our emotional intelligence that we can start to work on and improve, right? And it's to recognize that we can always change and always start over. It doesn't matter what we've done in the past, how we've done it in the past. Every single day is a new beginning and a new chance to do something different if we wish to. It's always, always a choice. So the last one is the desire to help others to succeed and oneself. So this is a desire to see ourselves succeed. And I think we all have this. We all want to succeed at something. We all want to get it right. It feels good. It feels good when we get something right for ourselves. But often we don't, we might celebrate little wins. In our group, we celebrate our little wins. But I think it's important that we do more of this. We have this, we bring it with us very often. Don't outshine anybody. Don't make a big scene about it. Don't brag. Those things we learned growing up when we were kids. And it's important that we recognize that these are old beliefs that don't serve us anymore, because it is important for us to recognize when we succeed at something. It is important for us to recognize that we can feel good about it. All right. And then it's also seeing that in others, because if we can see it in ourselves and we can recognize success and celebrate that success, we also desire it for other people. We don't see them doing all great things and think, oh, well, they're succeeding and I'm not. That's that divide. We can really honestly put ourselves in their shoes and celebrate with them without the feeling of jealousy and I'm not good enough and I'm not there yet and all of that. It's that real ability to celebrate with somebody else and want them to succeed just as much as you want yourself to succeed. So it's a beautiful celebration of all of that. And also, that goes back to also filling our own cup. So knowing that when we have this full cup, that it can overflow and it can support us and it can support others as well. All right. So we know, that's that sort of selfishness that we have to actually cultivate as a desire for our own success and the success of others. So that's it. Those are the 10 elements, the characteristics. As I say, I didn't make them up. These are 10 characteristics that are recognized in emotionally intelligent people. And I think this is something that we should all work towards. It's something that we could measure. It's something that we could help to improve for ourselves, because it really does. It goes into all areas of our life, into our relationships, into the way we see the world, into the way we see ourselves, in the way we relate to our dogs and to different situations and change and adaptability. It makes life a lot easier. It's more about that flowing through life as opposed to a really bumpy ride, as I would say, if we didn't have that emotional intelligence. Creatrix can do that for us. Creatrix can really help us to raise our emotional intelligence really quickly, because it can help us to get those insights and that inner wisdom which holds this emotional intelligence around so many different things. So thank you again, ladies, for being here. Wishing you a wonderful Tuesday, and I'll see you around in the group. Bye for now.